Hey guys, welcome to crappy home filmed yoga round 2. Today's class is going to be all about the hips. All right, so we're going to be working hip mobility, hip flexibility, and a little bit of strength as well. Going to go through some more traditional postures and sequences in addition to some exercises that work with both the active and the passive range of motion of the hip joint. And in yoga, when we refer to the hips, typically we are referring to the joint itself. So where the head of the femur, the head of the thigh bone, sits into the socket of the pelvis. So the acetabulum of the pelvis. All right. Now, this is a ball and socket joint. So much like the joint of the shoulder, at least in theory, capable of rotating 360 degrees. So in all directions. Now, the hips are kind of a tricky area of the body. We tend to carry quite a bit of tension in the hips, whether we're aware of it or not. Often as a result of a sedentary lifestyle, being seated for many hours of the day places the muscles that surround the hip into a contracted and shortened position, and that can cause them to be tight and stiff over time. But it's also an area where we carry a lot of emotional tension as well, similar to the muscles of the jaw, the neck, the shoulder, right? So it's not uncommon in a deep hip opening stretch in a yoga class where you'll experience this kind of like flood of emotions, and not always pleasant ones. Sometimes you'll look around, you're in a class, and you'll see like the tears are flowing from some of the other students. It's happened to me, it's happened to my students, it happens to my teachers. If it happens for you, no worries. It's totally normal. These can be really, we can be really tense around the hips. In those moments, it's your job just to breathe, just feel, try not to run away from the sensations, cultivate that state of non-reactivity, non-judgment. Do not force, do not push, but just feel. That's really what we're here to do in yoga anyway. And just one more word on the anatomy of the hip joint. Unless you're one of those very lucky people that was gifted with natural flexibility, I'm certainly not one of them. It's very likely that you're going to come across a limit to your flexibility in these hip opening positions. And it's likely that that limitation is a result of muscular tension. So it's something that can be stretched, strengthened, heated up, and worked on. But it's also possible that there may be some structural irregularities in the anatomy of your skeleton and the anatomy of the hip, the pelvis, and the joint itself. So, it's really important to be very mindful of the sensations in the deep socket of the hip. It's kind of a difficult area to feel on a day-to-day basis. We're going to go through some exercises where hopefully you can become a little bit more acquainted with that sensation of the rolling sensation of the head of the femur in the socket. But really, it's something we only ever feel when there's pain there, right? And we don't want to go there. It's not worth it. And on that note, don't get frustrated. These things can take a lot of time. Flexibility takes time and patience. Don't allow this to be, one more way in which you become punitive towards yourself. Don't get frustrated. Just breathe through the sensations. It's not worth it. It's just yoga. Grab a block if you have one. If not, pillow works too, cushion works too. Roll up a blanket, just something to lift the hips up off of the floor in some of the postures that we're going to be holding today. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. Be mindful of any injuries, never sharp sensations ever in the joints. Okay, you feel that, you back out of the posture, you take a break. I hope that you enjoy this. I hope that you learned something. I hope that this is useful to you, and I think we can go ahead and get started. All right, I'll see you guys in a second. Hey guys, I know I said that I might plan this class this time, and I kind of sort of have a little bit of a plan, but we're gonna wing it, see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. Better for me, maybe better for you. We're gonna find out. We're gonna start today's class seated. So come onto your mat. And go into a comfortable seated position. So whatever that means for you. Cross-legged, on the knees, half lotus, full lotus, with a block underneath you, whatever you gotta do. And close your eyes, lift up the spine nice and tall. Chin is gonna tuck slightly. Make sure you're nice and comfortable, relax the shoulders. And you're just taking a quick minute to check in with the body, see if you can notice any areas of tension, perhaps areas of openness today. Noticing the quality of your thoughts. Quality of the emotions at the beginning of practice today. And then without trying to control it just yet, resting your awareness on the breath. See where you can feel the breath moving in and out of the body. Now, starting to consciously deepen the breath, we inhale and exhale through the nose. Taking a few deep, full inhales and exhales here with the eyes soft. As you breathe here, try to keep your low belly engaged. You can squeeze up through the perineum if that's part of your practice. Hang on to that slow, deep inhale and that slow, deep exhale. Try to keep it steady throughout the class. One last moment to check in. I want you to see if you can feel your sits bones. So feel the bones just sort of underneath your butt muscles, pressing up against the floor. And then try to see if you can notice any sensations around the hip joint. So around the muscles of the hip flexors. Deep inside, so just feeling sensations in the hips. No thinking, just feeling. And with that awareness, we'll go ahead and get started, okay? So you can open up your eyes, bring the knees out. You're gonna bring your feet to about the width of your mat. Hands are gonna come behind you. Take an inhale, on an exhale, just drop the right knee in towards the center of the mat. See if you can touch the mat with your knee. Bring it back up. Exhale, left knee in. So just working through a little bit of internal rotation of the hip joint to start warming up the muscles that surround the hip. A few rounds. Checking in with your breathing. Good. Back to center, both knees. This time you're going to drop both knees over to the right. Back to center, both knees over to the left. Okay, so just windshield wipering kind of with those knees. Good. Coming back to center. And we're going to make our way into a wide leg child's position from here. All right? So crossing the feet underneath you, step back. Bring the knees to about the width of your mat. Toes are going to touch behind you. Exhale, press your hips back, wide leg child's pose. Arms are going to be out in front of you. You can drop your forehead down. Close your eyes. A few long, steady breaths here. Try to relax through the back muscles. Coming up with the head on an inhale. Exhale, start to walk your hands over towards the right. Giving your left side body a nice big stretch. Try to keep your hips level. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop the head. Big breath here. And out. Lifting up the head on an inhale. Start to walk all the way over to the left side. Stretching out through the right side body. Inhale. And exhale, drop it down. Inhale. Exhale. Coming back to center on the inhale and coming up into a tabletop position. All right, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Knees directly underneath the hips. Coming with a flat back. On an inhale, start to arch your spine, lift your tailbone up to the sky. Pull your chest through your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades, look up a little bit. Exhale, round through the low back, tuck the tailbone under, press up in between your shoulder blades, tuck your chin. Inhale, arch the spine, lift the heart, look forward. Really slow, exhale, round the spine, tuck. Crook of your elbows facing forward, take an inhale, arch, look up. Exhale, round. And go a few more rounds on your own. And I'll encourage you to let this get a little bit weird here. You can start to make kind of circles with your hips if you like, circles with the shoulders. We're just kind of rotating everything and loosening up the joints here, okay? So try not to think about it too much. Go in both directions. Just really gently, really slowly warming up the body. Good. Coming back to center, flat back this time. We want to bring the knees in a little bit closer here. Tuck through your tailbone, so make sure the upper or the lower back is nice and flat. Pull in through your low belly, pull in through the muscles of your rib cage. We want to keep the back level here. Take an inhale, you're going to bend your knee, flex the right foot, lift the foot up, and we're just going to try to isolate the rotation of the right hip joint. So we don't want to let the back get into this movement. We're just going to start to rotate through the hip joint. So maybe helpful to pretend like you've got a ball on your back, something on your back that you don't want to fall off or roll off, okay? Not letting your back sway, but keeping it nice and tight. A few rounds. You can go as slowly or as quickly as you like here. Just try to keep really mindful of the low back and the positioning of the back. Rotating in the opposite direction. One more round. And exhale, drop it down. Left side, bend the left knee, flex the left foot. Starting to make circles with the left hip. And if you're like me, you hear popping sensations, you hear kind of grinding sensations maybe, or maybe you feel them. Not inherently a dangerous thing necessarily, but you want to be really mindful of that, okay? It could be an indication that there is some sort of physical impediment. So rotate the opposite direction. There is some sort of physical impediment to the full range of motion of the femur in the acetabulum of the pelvis, okay? So there might be something about the anatomy of your skeleton that's preventing the smooth gliding action of the femur in the pelvis. Drop the knee down, take an inhale, arch the spine, lift the chest. Exhale, press it back into a regular child's pose. Squeeze the knees in towards one another. Drop the forehead down. Take 3 breaths. We always want to be really mindful of sensations deep inside the joint itself. You can never force flexibility, and particularly when it is a structural issue, you can never force bone on bone, okay? It's not going anywhere. You're just going to cause injury and wear and tear over time. Okay? Go easy. Inhale, come up back to center. One last warm up for the hips here. You're going to straighten the right leg to the back of the room. And I'm actually going to move over because I don't have enough room here. You stay where you are. Straighten the back of the right leg to the back of the room. We're going to try to make really big circles with the straight right leg, okay? So take an inhale. Start to drag your toes up and see if you can reach all the way up towards the right corner of your mat. Exhale, slowly, keep the legs straight back and over to the left. So great big circles. Take a few rounds. Move really slowly. And again, try to keep your core engaged here if you can. So not letting the back kind of get into it too much. This is really just about the hip. Inhaling forward. Exhaling back. Maybe 2 more rounds. Coming back to center with that foot. And switching sides, straighten the left leg back behind you. Take an inhale, glide it all the way up to the top. Exhale, glide it over to the right side. A few rounds just like that. You can let the toenails drag onto the floor if you want to. You don't have to have it hovering. It's totally up to you. It's more just about warming up through the full range of motion of the hip joint. All right? One last time. And exhale back. Coming back to center. This time we're going to come into a downward facing dog. Tuck the tailbone or tuck the toes. Spread out through the hands, grip through your fingertips, crook of the elbows facing forward, so spiraling forward. Start to lift your hips up to the sky, straighten the legs if you can, and maybe pedal out your downward dog here, bending one knee at a time, swaying through the hips. External rotation of the shoulders, and shoulders are pressing away from your ears, and you're pressing the floor away from you evenly between both of your arms. Coming to a point of stillness with your downward facing dog, take 3 breaths here, relax the head. Lift through the muscles of your quadriceps by lifting your kneecaps. Pull in through your lower belly, pull in through the lower rib cage. Good. On an inhale, you're going to lift up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Step, hop, or walk all the way to the top of your mat. Feet about hip width distance apart. Keep a generous bend in your knees. On the inhale, lift the heart, look up. Push my plant away because it's in the way. Exhale, fold. Drop the head. You can hang here just for a minute. Maybe shake your head no. Releasing through the low back and sway a little bit. Coming back to center, you're going to roll your spine up one vertebra at a time, pull in through the low belly, chin tucks. Head is going to be the last thing to come all the way up. Once you're at the top, roll your shoulders back, bring your hands to your heart center. All right, we're going to work through few rounds of Surya Namaskar B with variations, and we're going to go through this pretty quickly. The idea here is we want the body to be warm. Ideally, we want to be breaking a sweat. Okay, so I'll give you a few variations, a few modifications, but I'll encourage you to try to keep up with my pace, okay? So top of the mat, bring your hands to your heart center. On an inhale, lift the arms up to the sky, look up in between your hands. Exhale, bend the knees if you need to, hinge from your hips, fold all the way down. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, step or hop back into a plank position. You can be on the hands and knees or up in full plank. Wherever you are, take an inhale. On the exhale, tuck your core. Keep your core nice and engaged. Bend your elbows and lower all the way down to the floor. Okay? Inhale, lift through the kneecaps. Place the toenails on the ground. Elbows are going to squeeze in behind you. Take an inhale, use the back muscles to lift. Look forward, no need to crane the neck. Cobra position. Exhale, curl the toes under, press it back into downward facing dog. Okay, so first variation of a vinyasa. You can take that anytime you feel you need a break. We're going to go right into our Surya Namaskar A position, or B position. On an inhale, lift up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Step, hop, or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms are going to press, shoulders externally rotate. Exhale, hands to your heart center, down by your side, Samasthiti. Bring your toes together, bring the knees together, squeeze the knees in towards one another. Drop the knees, or drop the hips back. Take an inhale, come into your chair position, Utkatasana. Hands can be together or separated wide. Take an inhale. On the exhale, bend the knees, straighten the legs, fold, go down. Inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, step back. Plank position on the hands and knees or full plank. If you're with me, take an inhale. On the exhale, shift the weight forward into the shoulders, grip through the fingertips, start to bend the elbows, hovering in your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Relax the butt muscles, shoulders roll forward, collarbone spread, look up, curl your toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. All right, and right away, we're gonna come into warrior one pose. So left foot, 45-degree angle to the back of the mat. Step the right foot in between your hands. On an inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Look up in between your hands. Exhale, frame the right foot with your hands. Step the foot back into a plank position on the hands and knees or full plank. And on the exhale, go down into your chaturanga or cobra. Inhale, upward facing dog, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes under, lift the hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Right away, left side, right foot is going to be 45-degree angle to the back of your mat. Step the left foot up in between your hands, bend the knee deeply. On an inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, look up, warrior one. Exhale, plant the hands down, step it back into a plank position, take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga or all the way down. Inhale, cobra or up dog, lift the heart. Exhale, curl the toes under, downward facing dog. Hold for 3 breaths here. Spreading evenly between both feet, evenly between both hands. Shoulders away from the ears, neck is relaxed. Take an inhale, lift up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Step, hop, or walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back, look up. Exhale, fold, go down. Inhale, coming all the way up to the sky. Reach the palms, look up in between your hands. Exhale, Samasthiti, down by your side. Second round, bend the knees. Inhale, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. Look up. Exhale, fold forward and straighten the legs, go down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back into a plank or right into chaturanga, okay? Take an exhale, back, down into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side warrior one, left foot plants on an inhale, reach the arms up to the sky, look up. Exhale, plant the hands down, step the right foot back, down into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Warrior one, left side. Right foot 45-degree angle to the back. Plant the right or left foot in the front. Take an inhale, reach the arms, look up. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back into plank position. Inhale, and then exhale, down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, settle in. And you can take child's pose whenever you need to, but again, this is about warming, so try to stay in it. We want to increase the heart rate here a little bit. On your next inhale, lift up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Step or hop up to the top of your mat. If you want to try hopping with me, try hopping with me. Exhale, fold. Inhale, bend the knees. Hands to your heart center. Lift the arms up. Utkatasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. Last round, traditional Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, bend down, come into your chair pose. Look up. Exhale, hinge from the hips, fold, go down, straighten the legs. Inhale, heart lifts. Plant the hands, exhale, step it back into chaturanga or plank, and go through your vinyasa. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Step the right foot up in between your hands. Arms are going to reach. Look up in between your hands. Exhale, plant the hands. Step it back into a plank position and go through your vinyasa. Inhale, collarbone spread. Lift the chest. Exhale, hips to the sky. Left side warrior one. Coming up, inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back into a plank. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good job. 3 breaths. Flexing through the quadriceps. Pull the low belly in. Inhale, coming up onto the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Step, hop, or walk to the top of your mat. Take an inhale, lift the heart, flatten the back, look up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees on an inhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good, we're not done with our standing postures yet. Gonna keep warming up just a little bit more. On an inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Look up. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Dive, go down. Drop the head. Inhale, heart lifts. Look up. Exhale, plant the hands. Step, hop, or walk back into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time, bring the left foot in towards the center line. Point the right toes back. Take an inhale. Start to lift the leg up to the sky. And keep your hips square to the floor here. You're not going to let it splay out to the side. Not yet, anyway. But just holding here. Engage through the glute muscles. Engage through the back or the front of the left leg. Breathe. And then now you're gonna bend that right knee, let the hip open up, hang here for just a moment. Try to keep your shoulders square to the top of your mat, so square to the floor. And you can stay, hang out here. If it's part of your practice, we're gonna come back into a wild thing. So shifting onto the outer edge of your left foot, start to allow the right toes to reach for the floor. Find the floor with your toes. Take an inhale, lift the right arm, and then coming into a back bend, let it drop behind you. A few breaths here, opening up the back. Press the hips up to the sky. One more inhale. Exhale. Plant the right hand right back down to the mat. We're gonna lift the right knee, pull it into the chest, and then we're gonna send the right foot over to the left. Outer edge of the right foot is gonna plant up close to the top of your mat on the floor. Take an inhale. Lift your left arm up to the sky. Exhale, drop it back. One big inhale. One deep exhale. Inhale, lift the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, plant the left hand down. Keep your foot where it is. Coming into an IT band stretch here. So coming onto the ball of the left foot. Take an inhale and just kind of drop the hips a little bit. See if you can explore with the flexibility on that side. And if it's safe for you, dropping the hips to the floor. And if you need more challenge, you can come on down to the forearms. Wherever you are, just breathe. Try to stay really active with the right foot. So flexing the toes. One more inhale. And then coming all the way back up, plant your hands. Curl the left toes under. We're going to swing it back right into a plank position from here. Plank can be on hands and knees or full plank. Take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good, we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So left toes are going to point back. Lift the leg up to the sky. Try to keep the right leg as straight as you can. Hips are going to be square to the floor. Breathe. One more inhale. On your exhale, bend your left knee, open up the left hip to the side. Hang here for just a minute. Try to re-square your shoulders, even between both hands. And if you did it on the other side, we're gonna drop back into a wild thing. So left foot, gonna find the floor behind you. Take an inhale to lift the left arm up, and then exhale, drop it back into a back bend. Press the hips up towards the sky. Take an inhale. Exhale. One more inhale. On the exhale, bring the left hand down back to the mat. Left knee is going to curl up into your chest. Come onto the left hand, inner edge of the right foot. Outer edge of the left foot is going to come to the floor up near the top of your mat. Take an inhale, lift, and drop it back. One big inhale. Exhale. Drop the hand, and we're coming back into that IT band stretch. So coming onto the ball of your right foot. Active, active, active through the left leg. Explore with the range of flexibility in the IT band, outer hip. And when you're ready, dropping it all the way down to the floor. You can come onto the forearms. Close the eyes. Keeping low belly engaged. And coming back up, curl the right toes under. plank here. We're gonna hold plank 5 breaths. Why do we wanna hold plank for 5 breaths? Why would anybody ever wanna do that? Well, it's a good way to keep the body warm. It strengthens the core. And again, when we're working deep flexibility, we wanna keep the body nice and warm and juicy, okay? Take one more inhale. Exhale, shift the weight forward into the shoulders, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, reach the right leg back up to the sky. Exhale, step the foot in between the hands. You're gonna drop your left knee down. Be mindful of the kneecap. You roll forwards onto the kneecap, uncurl your toes. Just wiggle around here for a minute. Loosening up the joints. And coming up into a low lunge. Try to keep your lower belly engaged. See if you can really sink your weight into your hip. And both of your hips are going to be square to the front, okay? If it helps you relax, you can close the eyes. Take one more inhale. On the exhale, plant the hands. We're gonna press the hips back, start to straighten the right leg. You can keep the knee bent if you need to. Wherever you are, flex the toes. Take an inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, just drop it down. And the action is as though you're pulling the right heel towards you. Okay, so it's sort of like you're sucking the femur back into its socket. Release through the back. Let the back be round here. Flex your toes towards your face. Flex the quadricep. Inhale, start to bend your knee. Coming back forward. I'm going to come into a lizard lunge from here. So bring the right hand on the inside of the right foot. Try to keep your knee up against your body, up against your shoulder. Don't let it splay out. You're going to keep it nice and tight. This might be enough for you. Stay here. If you have more space, come on down to the forearms. Okay? And just breathe. And again, try to keep your knee in towards the body. So this is not a totally passive posture. If you need a little bit more challenge, you can curl your left toes under, straighten the left leg. And from here, we're all going to come down onto the left knee. This time you're going to step your right foot out a little bit and bring it to a 45-degree angle. You are going to let the hip open this time. Be mindful of sensations around the hip flexor, around the hip joint. You can wiggle your hips a little bit here. Curl the toes the other way. And you can stay here, but if you want a little bit deeper of a stretch for the psoas muscle on the left side, you're going to bend the left knee, come onto the left forearm, reach around, grab a hold of the top of the foot, and just pull it in. Be really gentle here. This is a huge stretch. Breathe into tight sensations in the hip flexor. And release. Coming back to center. All the way up with the hands. Lifting the left knee back. Plank position. Holding plank just for a moment. Take an inhale. Exhale all the way down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Point the left toes to the back. Lift the left knee or left leg up to the sky. Exhale. Step in between the hands. Drop the right knee down. Wiggling around here before we come into our lunge pose. sure both of the hips are facing the front of your mat, so you're not out to the side, not out to this side, but you're straight forward. Take a few breaths. See if you can release and sink down a little bit with the hips. It's probably my most difficult lesson in yoga. It was learning how to let go of unnecessary effort, let go of unnecessary tension. And you find the body is so much more receptive to opening up when we're not forcing, but we're just allowing. Take one more inhale. Exhale, plant the hands down. We're going to shift the weight back into the hips. Straighten out through the left leg if you can. Flex the toes towards your face. Take an inhale. On the exhale, fold. And again, it's as though you're pulling your left heel back into its socket. So it's a pretty active pose. Flexing through the front of the leg, so muscles around the shin, thigh muscles. Inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, let the foot down. Coming back into your lunge, and we're going to go back right into our lizard lunge. So left hand on the inside of the left foot. You can drop down onto the forearms if it's accessible to you. Again, keeping the left knee in close to the body. If you did it on the other side, straightening through the right leg. Breathe. One more inhale. Everyone exhale, drop the knee down, uncurl the toes. Left foot is going to be out at a 45-degree angle. You can open up through the left hip here. Stay here and explore this space if this is enough for you. If you need a little bit more for the right psoas, reach around, grab a hold of the top of your foot. Relax that back leg, so no effort in your left leg here, except for maybe you can squeeze your hamstring a little bit and then just pull it in, okay? This is a super, super intense stretch for me, okay? I'm sure it is for you too. Breathe through it. Don't run away from the sensations. See where you can soften. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Bring the left hand back in. Coming all the way up, we're going to come into a plank position from here. So toes curl under. Tuck your tailbone, engage through the low belly. Hold, plank. Shift the weight forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to come to a malasana pose, all right? An active malasana, so like a yoga squat. This is going to be a time where if you have a yoga block or a blanket accessible to you, you might want to go ahead and grab it, okay? Lift up onto the toes, exhale, bend your knees, step the feet forward, and you're going to bring your feet out about to the width of your mat. Toes are going to be facing outward a little bit. If you have a yoga block and you know that your hips are really tight, I want you to put your yoga block down, either, this sort of orientation or a higher edge, whatever works for you. Coming flat back here, you're just going to start to bend your knees and sit all the way back into a squat position. Okay, and again, you can be here with your squat, you can be down here with your malasana, or even if you don't have a block and you still need a little bit of support, you can actually put a rolled up blanket underneath your heels, and this should make it a little bit more easy for you. But wherever you are, coming into your malasana position, you're going to try to let the weight sink down into the hips. Bring your hands to your heart center. We're gonna make this a little bit active here. So squeeze your knees in and press your elbows out. So you're kind of opposing the action with your elbows and with your hips. Squeeze, 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 and relax. Squeeze, and relax. Squeeze it in, press it out, and relax. See how that lifts the spine up out a little bit? Squeeze it in, press it out, and relax. And wherever you are, we're gonna come all the way up into a standing. So take an inhale, lift into standing. Exhale, bend the knees slowly. Try to keep your back nice and straight until you're all the way down into your squat position. 2 more times. Inhale, straighten the legs, come all the way up. Exhale, back down, Malasana. Heart lifts. Last time, inhale. Exhale. Sink it back. You can wiggle your hips around here. See if you can kind of get your shoulders involved here. Tuck yourself in, but also lift your heart. Breathe, maybe close your eyes. Relaxing through the hip joints. One more inhale. On the exhale, plant your hands down in front of you. Remove the block or the blanket if you had one there. Coming back into a plank position, okay? Step, hop back into plank position. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Coming on to the seat here. So cross the right knee in front of you, cross the left foot in front of you, sit back onto the heels. Coming back just for a minute, we're gonna go right back into that windshield wiper action. So hands are gonna be behind you, feet out to about the width of your mat, and just let them rock side to side. And gonna work with a few very traditional postures, okay? Starting with Janu Shirshasana, A position. Come back to center. I am just going to face you so you can see what I'm doing. You stay where you are. And again, this would be a time, if you know that your hips are really tight, to grab a blanket, elevate your hips, okay? Just something to sit on comfortably. Coming first into a Dandasana position. So just to set the spine up, you're gonna straighten both of your legs, squeeze the knees in towards one another, flex the toes towards your face, plant your hands down, lift your chest, tuck your chin in, and just breathe for a moment here. Nice and tall with the spine. And then pulling your right knee right up into your chest. Heel is going to be really, really close to the right hip. Using your hands, you're just going to drop the knee out to the side. Bring the sole of the right foot into the inner left thigh. Orient your chest towards your left leg. Take an inhale here. Lift the heart. On the exhale, you're just going to start to walk yourself down. The idea is we want to try to keep a flat back. If you have to have the knee bent in order to do that, I want you to bend the knee, okay? But wherever you are, walking forward with a flat back, and all of the effort here is coming from the flexion of the muscles of the front of your leg, so the muscles around the shin, the muscles around the quadricep, in addition to the low belly and your core pulling in, okay? So release through the back completely. No real pulling with the arms as well, but just see if you can soften, relax here, and really, really engage through the core and the front of the leg. If you can grab a hold of the ankle, foot, toes, maybe you can wrap your hands around your toes. Take an inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale here. Take an inhale all the way back up, and we're going to switch sides. Grab a hold of the right knee with your hands. Bring it back up into the chest. Straighten out the left leg. So coming out the exact same way that we came in. Switching sides. Left knee into the chest. Hug it in. Use your hands. Drop it out to the side. Sole of the foot is going to be on the inner right thigh. Orienting your chest towards the right leg. Take an inhale. Lift the heart. Exhale. Start to walk forward. And you stop wherever you have to stop. And it's very likely that one side will be a little bit more stiff. One side will be more flexible than the other. It's totally normal. Again, pull in through your low belly. Flex through the muscles of the front of your leg. Grab a hold of whatever you can, but no pulling with the arms. Take an inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale, fold. Think about pulling the right femur back with that right leg if you can. Relaxing through the hip muscles on the left side. Inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale here. Take an inhale, come all the way back up. This time we're going to explore with a position called Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana, okay? It's basically like a half Padmasana, a half lotus position. If you know that this is not safe for your body, if your hips are still super tight, go very easy with this one, okay? Gonna come, straighten the legs out once again, and we're just gonna bring the right knee into the chest, and we're gonna explore the passive range of motion of the right hip joint. I want you to become a little bit more familiar with the sensation of the femur rolling around in its socket, okay? So bringing the right knee into your chest, flex the left foot. You're gonna hug yourself in, hug the right knee in, and just sit back. And so your right leg is just kind of flopping here. Try to soften completely through this leg, okay? All the work that we're gonna be doing right now is gonna be with the strength of the arms, okay? So grab a hold of your right knee with your right arm, grab a hold of the foot with your left hand, and you're just gonna start to work the full range of motion of the right hip. So rolling around, try to imagine even the femur rolling around into its socket. And again, this is not something that we're doing with the muscles of the legs. We're using the arms here to do this, so totally passive. Try to zero in on the sensations deep inside the hip, okay? And if you have issues with your knee or issues with your hips, I want you to go right back into Janu Shirshasana, so this position here where we were just in. If you think it's safe to explore with your Padmasana, with your half lotus, we're gonna just, once we've rocked a few times, start to slide the foot into the left hip crease. So watch it again, really safely, slide it in, and try to relax the hip muscles. Here we are, half lotus, Ardha Baddha Padma Paschimottanasana. Take an inhale, lift the heart up. On the exhale, you're gonna start to walk forward and see if you can kind of lift your torso up over the left foot, okay? Grab a hold of whatever you can, inhale, exhale, fold. You don't wanna feel any pressure at all in the knee, okay? If you feel pressure in your knee here, back out of the posture. It means that the knee is trying to take the torque of the rotation of the hip. It means that there's inflexibility, insufficient flexibility in the hip joint to allow for that safe external rotation of the hip here, okay? And we don't want that. It's just gonna lead to injury, more suffering, okay? That's not what it's about. Just breathe. Inhale, flatten the back, we'll look up. Exhale here. Coming all the way back up, and we're gonna, again, come out the exact same way we came in. So grabbing a hold of the foot, grab a hold of the knee, bring it up, and rolling it back into the chest, straightening it out. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing, left side. Left knee, pull it in, hug it, give yourself a nice hug, sit back, and let that hip be really, really floppy. Totally relaxed. Grab a hold of the foot with your right hand, grab a hold of the knee, and start making your circles, okay? And again, one hip is very likely tighter than the other. This is my tighter side. I have to be mindful of my knee here. And when you feel ready, when you feel like you kind of understand the sensation of the rolling action of the femur in the acetabulum, you're going to experiment with your lotus, okay? Don't push the knee down. Again, we don't want to add any unnecessary pressure to the knee. And, you know, be really mindful of your ankle as well. If this is not safe for the ankle, just come back into Paschimottanasana, okay? If you can, exploring with that half lotus, take an inhale. Exhale, start to walk down, fold, relax. Good. Grab a hold of whatever you can. Active through the core, active through the front of the right leg. Everything else is passive here. One more inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift the heart, look up. Exhale here. Taking an inhale, come all the way back up. Grabbing a hold of the knee and the foot. Gonna rotate all the way back and straighten out the legs. Good job. Stay where you are. I'm gonna go right back to my mat. And coming into one last vinyasa here. So coming to plank position, tuck your tailbone under, lean the weight forward, exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hang out in downward facing dog. This is the last one of the class. We'll just notice if we've created any more space in the body. Inhale up, watch the toes. Exhale, bend the knees. Again, we're gonna cross the right leg in front, cross the left leg in front, sit back. Okay. If you have that blanket there for our Dhanurshasana and our half lotus pose, you're probably gonna want it here as well, just to sit up. Last kind of big, deep stretch for the hip. We're gonna come into a diamond shape with the hips. Okay, and it does help to elevate the sit bones a little bit to keep the lower back nice and flat. We want to be we don't want to be sinking back into it. We want to keep it nice and forward, okay, tilting the tailbone backwards. Now, in this butterfly position, this kind of might be enough for you. And we do want the feet to be away from the body. We're not coming into a Baddha Konasana here. We want the stretch to be isolated to the outside of our hips. Okay, wherever you are, take an inhale. Reach the tailbone back. Think about reaching the tailbone all the way to the back of the room. Start to drop down. Try to keep your back from rounding here. And soften. This is a surprisingly difficult stretch. It looks super simple. But particularly if you deal with sciatica, there's compression of your sciatic nerve. You'll really, really feel this one, okay? Let's see if you can soften. Coming all the way back up. This time we're going to isolate one side at a time. So bring your left foot in, cross it And same thing, straighten up, reaching your tailbone to the back. Take an inhale, start to walk. On your exhales, fold all the way down, okay? This might be really super intense. It's really super intense for me. So stay, hover in that point of discomfort. See if you can breathe. Relax muscles of the jaw, muscles of the neck and the face, totally relaxed. Inhale, coming all the way back up. That was really intense for me. Exhale, we're going to switch sides. So bringing the left foot into the diamond shaped position, right foot is going to come in, readjusting your hips if you need to. Take an inhale, exhale, start to walk it down. And again, I can feel my sciatic nerve here for sure. Just breathe. Flexibility takes time. And try to orient towards the process, but not the goal of opening up the hips, okay? You never want to force. Just feel, just allow, just accept where your body is today. Accept those moments of difficulty equally as the moments of pleasure and ease. And inhale, come all the way back up. Bring your knees into your chest. We're going to lay down all the way onto our backs. Make sure you got enough room behind you. Good. And last time we're going to windshield wipe our legs. Bring your feet out to the edges of your mat. Just give yourself a few rocks side to side. And then coming back to center, ground through your sacrum. You're going to bring your knees into your chest and then straighten your legs up towards the sky. Point your toes, flex through the quadriceps. Stay here for a moment. We're going to do just a passive stretch for the inner thighs. If it helps you to have your hands underneath your pelvis, you can do that here, but if you don't need to, no worries. And you're just going to start to open your legs here. So pointing the toes, keep them open, and seeing if you can just allow that opening to slowly happen. If it helps, you can bring your hands onto your inner thighs. I have to move back to my shelf, isn't the way here. There we go. And you're squeezing through your butt muscles a little bit, but really think about trying to relax through the inner thighs, okay? A few breaths. Wherever you are, bringing the knees back to center. Squeeze them in now. Squeeze them really, really close to one another. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then exhale, bend the knees. Give yourself a hug, rock from side to side. And one more kind of final back bend before we go into our final relaxation. Okay, just a simple bridge pose today. Bringing the soles of the feet down, hip width distance apart with the knees. Tailbone is going to be flat against the floor for now. Neck is going to be nice and long. Tuck your chin a little bit, arms down by your sides. Press through your heels. Take an inhale, lift the hips. And you don't have to go super, super far here. This can be enough for you. If you want a little bit more of a back bend, you can start to roll one shoulder underneath you, roll the other shoulder underneath you, clasp the hands, and then press up. Use the strength of the legs to press. Keep looking up towards the sky to keep the neck long. Squeeze your knees in towards one another like you're holding a block between your knees. Press, 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 press through the heels. One more inhale. Exhale, lift the heels, start to roll the vertebra down all the way. Good. Bringing your right knee into your chest, straighten out your left leg. Take an inhale. On the exhale, twist over to the left. So right knee's going to drop over to the left side. Right arm's going to come out, look towards your right hand, close your eyes. Inhale back to center. And switching legs, straightening out the right leg, left knee in. Crossing the left knee over to the right. Left arms out to the left. Twist. Easy recline twist here. Close the eyes, soften the breath. Inhale back to center of the knee. Bringing both knees in. Just coming into happy baby pose. So knees are going to track open. You're going to flex the feet, soles of the feet towards the ceiling as though you're kind of squatting on the ceiling. Grab a hold of the outer edges of your feet. Try to relax through the hips. Keep your sacrum on the floor and just breathe. And you're letting gravity do the work here, so not really pulling with the arms. You can rock from side to side. And coming back to center, bringing your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a squeeze, give yourself a hug. If you like, you can tuck your chin in towards your chest. Hunch up your ears hunch up your shoulders towards your ears. Squeeze in everything really, really tight. And exhale, release, let it go. Give it a sigh. Coming into Shavasana, final relaxation. Allowing the eyes to be soft. And releasing any effort to control the breath. Giving the body just a few minutes to absorb the efforts of the practice in total stillness. Trying to keep your awareness centered on the breath, the natural inflow of air as you inhale. Following the breath as it moves out of the body on the exhale. draw the breath in a little bit more deeply once again. You can exhale a sigh. Start to wiggle around, whatever kind of feels natural for you. Maybe stretching out the body a little bit, waking it up. And taking your time, rolling into a fetal position on one side. Keep the eyes soft. Using the support of your arms and coming all the way back up into seated position. And eyes are going to be soft. Spine nice and tall. Let the hands fall wherever they may. And taking just one quick minute to appreciate how the body feels in relation to when we started the class. So sensing the hip joints. And perhaps the lower back. Focusing in on any areas where you can sense spaciousness in the body. And with your awareness on that expansive quality, bringing your hands to your heart center, palms touch. May all beings be happy and free. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your hands to your forehead, and then exhale, fold down. Drop your forehead. Softly coming all the way up. You can open up your eyes. And thank you for joining me today. I hope that your hips are feeling good today. I hope that this brings a little bit of lightness, a little bit of ease into your day today. And have a beautiful, sunshiny, happy day. Namaste. Bye, guys.